Hey everybody, this is Dr. Eric Nepute. I hope you're having an amazing, blessed day wherever you are in the world when you're watching this video. I just want to say that I'm honored to be a part of this program, and I'm just like many other doctors out there, like many other moms and dads out there as well. I just want health for myself, my family, and for my children. You know, what I'd like to do is take a couple minutes today to talk to you a little bit about what health really is, what you can do to improve upon your health, and what we really need to do as a culture and a society to help get more people less sick, okay? And so we live in a very unique climate right now. Obviously with the fears of what's going on with, the coronavirus and COVID-19 and really all other health issues, they've really been brought to the forefront. And we've really been, how do I say this politely, caught as a nation with our pants down. Listen, you guys have seen all over the news, you see all the risk factors for COVID, right? Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, stroke, immunocompromised, high blood pressure, obesity, all those are high risk factors. So what we strive to do, number one, is to educate, motivate, and inspire people to get out of that camp of those risk factors and get into the camp of health and wellness. But how do we do that? And so what I want to do today is give you some information, some knowledge, so that you can empower yourself. But here's the deal. Let me challenge every one of you. Today is not just about getting knowledge. Knowledge is great. That's learning stuff. But wisdom is taking that knowledge and applying it to your life. So here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. I'm going to encourage you to watch this video. Take notes. Rewatch it. Share it with your friends and family, because the more people that know this message, the more empowered we can be. And that's really what we need. The only way to get rid of fear is to have faith and to have facts. So the more faith and facts you have about your health, about how to insulate yourself from sickness and disease, how to get yourself out of the camp of sickness and into the camp of health and wellness, the better we're going to be. So before I get into this, let me talk to you a little bit about what health is. If I ask you a question, if I say, what's it mean to be healthy? What's the first thing that comes to mind to you? Many of you say, oh, I look good, I feel good, I don't have a lot of pain. That means I'm healthy. Well, let me just tell you something. I've asked this question now to hundreds of thousands of people across the globe, and those are the most common answers I get. But is health really all about just looking and feeling good? And the answer is no. How many of you watching this video know people that look good and felt good and dropped dead of a heart attack? How many of you know people that look good and felt good, went to the doctor and left with a diagnosis of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, stroke, something of that nature? Health is more than just how you feel and how you look. Health is all about how you function. Now let's talk about this. I'm going to break this down a little bit more. Function, when I break it down in my practices, it's all off of three things. Now you can put a lot of categories in these three big sub-goals, but three categories. Number one, health is balance of your physical body. Now listen, one of my degrees is I have a degree in Doctor of Chiropractic. I'm all about looking at the structure of the body. How many of you know that if a car is out of alignment, that's going to cause a problem with the vehicle? Would you agree with that? Same thing's true with your body. But what most people don't know is when your body's out of alignment, it starts negatively affecting nerves, which then negatively affects muscles and joints, negatively affects organs, which then can negatively affect the organ system, which then affects the organism. So when we're out of alignment, our body, there's no way it can function at its optimal peak performance. So it's very important that you understand physical alignment. And you should get with a doctor of chiropractic or any other type of physical medicine physician or practitioner that can help you assess your alignment. Because if that's off, it leads to the second thing that needs to be measured, which is your nerve function. Now, many of you know the brain lives in your skull. It sends electrical signals down your spine, but most people don't know that all these different nerves in your body go to different areas of your body. For example, there are nerves in the neck that control the muscles of the neck, the arms, hands, and fingers, but there's also nerves in the neck that control the thyroid, the pancreas, the stomach, the liver, the diaphragm. There are nerves in your low back that control your bowels, your bladder, your hormone function. So again, if we're out of alignment, there's irritation on those nerves. Those organs cannot work like they're supposed to. Think about this. If you had a blown fuse in your house, if you go home and you flip the light switch on, and the lights didn't turn on and your light bulbs were good and your bills were paid, you would probably go to the fuse box to look for the problem, right? Well, that's what you need to do with your body. It's very important that you get with a doctor or a practitioner that can measure the nerves in your body and measure where there's good, healthy functioning nerves and abnormal functioning nerves. One other test that's very important to measure your nerve and brain function is called a heart rate variability test. This is the gold standard of measuring what we call sympathetic versus parasympathetic activity. In your brain, there's all kinds of things that are happening nonstop. It's an amazing organ. I mean, just amazing. But there's two big things I want to talk about. Visualize a teeter-totter or a level or a seesaw, whatever you call it when you were a kid. One side is your gas pedal, the other side is your brake pedal. The gas pedal is known as your sympathetic nervous system. That's your go, 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 your fight or flight part of your brain. The other part is called your parasympathetic. We call that the brake pedal. This is the part of the brain that helps you rest, relax, grow, develop, heal, digest foods, all that, can make hormones. It's the healing part of the brain. Well, most people, research shows us that most people are stuck in sympathetic overload. Their gas pedal's stuck on go, right? They're stressed out too much. So when this goes up, this goes down. And when this goes down, we have problems with digestion. The immune system goes down. The endocrine system function goes down. We have sleeping problems. We get hormonal imbalances, all because there's an imbalance in the firing of left and right parts of the brain. Sympathetic versus parasympathetic. The goal of health is to get balance, homeostasis in that. So a heart rate variability test is one of the most important tests that you can have done. The third and final thing that I like to talk about is I like to talk about your chemical stress, right? So chemical health is the nutrients that come in, the vitamins that are absorbed, the foods that you eat, and the waste that comes out of your body. If you don't have a good balance in that, if you're deficient, or if you're toxic, or if you're not eating a healthy, balanced diet, you're not going to be healthy. It's physiologically impossible for you to be healthy if you're not eating clean diets, if you're not eating dark leafy green vegetables, if you're not eating lean and clean meats, if you're not drinking 60 to 70 to 80 ounces of water every day, if your diet is the standard American diet, which is filled with fried foods, processed foods, junk foods, foods that don't have a lot of nutrients in them, you're going to be sick and stay sick. So here's the deal. Let's talk about what health is and the balance of it is. So health is a balance. So if I drew a line right here in the middle of your body, okay, this is health. It's called homeostasis. So the deal is this, is if we have stress, stress is physical, chemical, emotional, neurological, you name it. Stress pushes us this way out of balance. When we get out of balance, that's called dis-ease. Balance is known as ease, E-A-S-E. So when we're in ease, we're in homeostasis, we're centered. That's good. That's when we have proper function, proper alignment, proper chemistry, proper neurology. Everything's good. We don't have symptoms, and our body can do what it's supposed to do. Fight off sickness, fight off disease, you name it. The more stress we have, physically, chemically, emotionally, or neurologically, the more it pushes us from here to here. The more off-center we get, the more out of balance we get. The first step we do is we go from ease, then we go to dis-ease, dis-ease. That's when we're out of balance. That's when our body's trying to rob Peter to pay Paul to accommodate for the stress. But here's the deal. If we live in dis-ease long enough, out of balance long enough, we're going to fall into disease, okay? So the third step is disease. So ease, dis-ease, and then disease. Well, disease is like heart disease, diabetes, cancers, you name it. The diseases that we're all familiar with, they live over here. Now, the key to staying healthy is to be able to have things that can push you back into balance. So if you're physically out of alignment, what should you do? Exercise, stretching, massage work, physical therapy, chiropractic, physical medicine pushes us back towards that midline. If you're neurologically out of balance, what are things that you can do? Exercise, meditation, mindfulness, grounding, chiropractic, biofeedback, acupuncture. The list goes on and on and on. If I'm leaving things out, that's because the list is long. So those things will push you back into alignment. If you're chemically off center, which how do you find out? You got to run your blood test, do a urine test. You can do DNA swab tests to find out what vitamins, minerals, nutrients, hormones, whatever that you're out of balance with. Once you find out what's out of balance, you can start slowly putting that back into your body, and then you get back into center. You see, your body's constantly going through this left and right, stress, de-stress, stress, de-stress. You've got to first understand what health really is. Health is a balance of these things. And then what you've got to do is understand and recognize what stresses are coming at you. Try to avoid them as much as you can. We can't avoid all stresses, but then what we got to do is push back. We got to push back to de-stress our body to get us back into balance physically, chemically, neurologically, and emotionally. Now, so what are the big things that you should be doing right now? Number one, from a physical standpoint, we need to move our body every day. Research tells us that at least 30 minutes a day of continuous movement, especially outside in fresh air, getting good oxygen, getting sunlight on our body is one of the healthiest, most beneficial things we can do to reduce our risk of chronic disease and really any disease. And we're talking heart disease, cancer, diabetes, stroke. There was an exhaustive study that was done even in the 1980s by C. Everett Koop, the Surgeon General at the time. The government funded a study and showed that if we did those things, we ate right, we dieted, we exercised, we can prevent a lot of those diseases I just mentioned by lifestyle change. So what else should we do? Foods. What should we be eating? We should be eating at least 2, if not 3 meals a day. Adults, is good to fast. I'm a big fan of fasting. Intermittent fasting is so healthy for the body. So what should we have on our plate? We should have 4 to 6 ounces of good, healthy, lean, clean protein, 4 to 6 ounces of dark green vegetables, and then 4 to 6 ounces of other healthy carbohydrates. Healthy, non-grain, I don't like a lot of dairy. I like good, healthy fats as well. So eggs, avocados, nuts, those are very good, very, very healthy foods. Water and hydration. There's a book written by a famous doctor. It's called You're Not Sick, You're Dehydrated. And it talks about how dehydration is one of the common causes of fatigue, anxiety, depression, chronic pain, blood pressure issues, cholesterol issues. It affects our blood sugar. The whole 9 yards is affected by that stuff. So it's important, right? But you got to remember something. In life, we want to measure. What gets measured gets managed, right? Don't guess, test. So get with doctors and providers and healthcare experts that can help you get informed to do the right things for you and your family. What are some of the most important nutrients that we find commonly deficient? Again, you should consult your doctor because everybody's uniquely different, but here's our top nutrients that we see deficient on almost everybody. Number 1, vitamin D3, D as in dog. There was just a huge exhaustive study done. This is a 2002 study, vitamin D deficiencies in Ireland, implications for COVID-19, results of Irish longitudinal study. This was released in April of 2020. Amazing study. They found that the average adult in Ireland is deficient in vitamin D. Vitamin D is essential for bone health, muscle health, hormone balance, immune system function. The list goes on and on and on. If you want more information about vitamin D3, go to Dr. Michael Hollick, Hollic, I think, or CK, drhollick.com. He's the world leading expert on vitamin D. He's a medical internist. What they found in this study were the people that are most at risk for low vitamin D, people who don't go outside, people who are chronic disease and lung conditions, obese people, so we've got to get our weight down, folks, and then people that are stuck and bound inside their homes because they're not getting vitamin D exposure. Dr. Michael Hollick talks about how every adult should have at least 10,000 IUs a day. Now, again, I agree that we should test our blood first to see what our levels are, but 10,000 international units a day of good D3, D3 is a good product. This is the one that we use and recommend. If you want to find out more information about that, you can go to our website at, just go to Facebook and check out Common Sense Health. Common Sense Health on Facebook talks about some products. I'm not here just to push products. That's not my deal. But you need to get a good vitamin D3, not D2. D3 is 50 to 60 times more effective than vitamin D. D3 is better than 2. So that's a big one. What else is a big one? Zinc. Zinc. The average adult needs 20 to 30 milligrams a day of zinc. This is a study that was put out 2010. Right here is one of them. 2010 study. Zinc inhibits coronavirus and arterial virus RNA polymerase activity in vitro, and zinc ionophores block the replication of viruses in cell culture. This was in 2010 Journal of Pathogens. Talks about zinc. I'm telling you, every adult needs to be on at least 20 to 30 milligrams of zinc every day. It's one of the most common deficiencies we find. Look at your fingernails. If you got little white lines on your nails, that's a sign of leukoplakia. You're deficient in vitamin D. Other studies show vitamin D can reverse and prevent pneumonia. Zinc and vitamin D, pneumonia, American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, 2006. In that journal, it talks about, clearly states here, research increased intercellular zinc concentrations are known to effectively impair replication of a number of RNA viruses by interfering with, it stops them from being absorbed. Those viruses are corona and arterial virus. So we've known about that for a long time. It also says zinc is a zinc ionophore in combination with zinc, which is chloroquine or things like that, or quinine. In combination with zinc is a potent inhibitor of replication of SARS coronavirus. and this was from 2010. So we know zinc is a big deal. Vitamin C is a huge deal as well. If you want more info on vitamin C, check out Dr. Andrew Saul, one of my close friends. I did an interview with him. It's up on the page on Common Sense Health. So go to Common Sense Health on social media, Facebook. Go there and like that page, subscribe to that. There's a couple interviews I did with Dr. Saul on the benefits of vitamin D boosting the immune system. Vitamin D is one of the only nutrients that the FDA can allow you to write on the bottle that says it will improve immune system function. Dr. Saul talks about the work of other doctors and his own work in the Journal of Orthomolecular Medicine and how we should take vitamin C to bowel tolerance. So basically what you should do, you should take 500 to 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, then every 2 hours or 3 hours, take another 500 to 1,000 milligrams until you start to get gassiness or a little bloatiness or a little rumbling in your stomach. If you take so much you get diarrhea, that's just too much. So you don't need to be doing that. You need to take it to bowel tolerance, and everybody's different with that dose. Same thing for your children. So vitamin C is a huge one. Probiotics are also extremely important. Probiotics help with the microbiome in your body. The microbiome is the bacteria in our body, where 75% of our immune system is in our gut. So we should be on a good, healthy probiotic every day. I like prebiotics as well, and I love fermented foods. Our standard American diet and lots of sugar crushes our body's ability to have good microbiome, and so that's why most people have bloatiness, gassiness, distension, immune system problems, inflammation in the joints, and a weakened immune response to bugs and bacteria. So those are things that you should be doing literally right now, every day. I'll just tell you, it's unfortunate that in the news right now, the information is suppressed. We should be hearing more about this. Instead of just staying home and washing your hands and distancing yourself, what can we do to empower ourselves and boost our immune system, you guys? Fake news is everywhere. I went out and I do videos all the time through our Common Sense Health Facebook page, and then on my page, which is Eric Nepute, you guys can go there and like our public page there. We put information out daily to educate and empower our patients. Somebody took a 30-second snippet of my 30-minute video clip on nutrients that you should be taking, and I was talking about chloroquine, which is a cousin of quinine. Quinine is the natural form of chloroquine. That's what it was derived from. Drugs are synthetic and vitamins are natural. You can't patent a natural product, so they make it a drug. And so how quinine and zinc, which we use in our office, we use either tonic water or chicona bark. The chicona bark is the tree where quinine comes from. We mix that with zinc whenever people get symptoms of flus or colds, and it knocks out those symptoms like you wouldn't believe. I never made any claims that it cures coronavirus or anything like that, but the media took what I said, spun it, and said that I told everybody that drinking Schweppes tonic water can cure COVID-19, which is crazy. There's so much misinformation out there right now. You got to start looking through the main headlines and looking at the back headlines. Like, for example, there was a report a couple weeks ago from the governor of Connecticut, came out and said that a child died from COVID-19. That was a newborn. That was not true. What happened was there was a pregnant mother who was sick, had some health issues, ended up getting COVID-19, was in the hospital, had cardiovascular arrest, and then her labor was induced. The child was born at 22 weeks early, and 22 weeks early, you have an 5 to 8% chance of survival. So the baby died, and they labeled that as a coronavirus death, COVID-19, which is not true. The coroner came out a couple days later after Candace Owens broke the story. We love Candace, by the way. I think she does great stuff. You guys should follow her. If you don't check her stuff out, you should, whether you like her politics or not. She's standing up for all of us. And the coroner came out and said, no, that's not true. We didn't label it as that. So there's a lot of misinformation. So stop looking at the main headlines. One thing that was blown away by me, I saw a journalist who I'm real big into the media here in St. Louis sent me something called Operation Mockingbird. I want to challenge you guys to check it out. It kind of blew my mind when I watched the video on it. Operation Mockingbird basically talks about how, the government and Google, Facebook, YouTube, and all the local news agencies have gotten together, and they have a narrative that they're talking about. Anything that's outside that narrative is basically shown to try to be wrong, which is not true. There's a lot of fake media out there. So you guys be careful what you watch and be careful what you listen to. Protect your mind, look at resources, ask questions, dig deep. But the big message I want to give you is you can insulate yourself. You can protect yourself. We need more people less sick. So we need to get you out of that risk factor for cancer, heart disease, diabetes, stroke. If you're overweight, it's time now more than ever to get yourself healthy. If you go to commonsensehealth.com or Common Sense Health on Facebook, again, Common Sense Health on Facebook, you can find out more information about that. We put tons of info on there for you to have to empower yourselves. And it's a community we created so that people can come together and talk about what's really possible, so that you have the right science, the right understanding, so that you can make your own freedom to choose. And that's what we're all about. Like, I don't care what people do health-wise as long as they get the opportunity to choose what to do. So I hope this was beneficial for all you all. If there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to ask. Again, my name is Dr. Eric Nepute. You can find us at neputewellness.com. That's Nepute wellness.com, or go to Common Sense Health on Facebook today. Check us out. We're happy to help you. Have a blessed day, everybody.